Okay, welcome back. It's been a while. I got a 7060 Allis here. It's a neighbor's tractor. Had some starting issues. When it first started up, it kind of stumbled around. I should have did a video of pulling the injectors and the injection pump out, but today we're going to put it back in. So a few things to remember when you're taking this out. Okay, you got to make sure that your static timing is correct. Now let's get in here. I don't know if you can see it now. But there's timing marks. Should be set at 18 degrees for this one. So, and all your prep surfaces where your gaskets are going to seal up. Allis Chalmers has always, all the ones I've worked on, always had this oil leak back here. It's because there's too much space between the two bolts, this one and that one. And you can see here where the oil's burned, where it was leaking. So we'll try and address that with just a light little bit of silicone RTV, you know. And then always make sure you got your, oh, give me some light here. Maybe. Anyhow, let's go over here. And make sure you get all your pieces out. All 6 of them. These are new ones. There's new injectors, and I'll help get those all set up. And then we'll come back here, we'll drop them all in, and then we'll get the pump set, make sure that's all timed up, and I'll show you how to do that. So this is how I prep my injectors. Take just a little bit of grease on the end of a screwdriver. Right there on the edge. Roll around. A little dab of grease. I don't know if it makes a difference, but this is the way I like to install the washer. They are folded up. You see, they're kind of curved. I'll put it where the curve is out. Give it a little rotate. So it's like glue, it doesn't fall off then. Okay. Then we'll go over to the tractor. This is what I like to do, like take the injector, get you some good old anti-seize, basically paint that whole thing up. Okay. Get in here. So if they ever have to come out and be rebuilt again, the guy will be so happy that they come out nice and easy. Try not to smear up your grease. Take off a little of the excess. Got a little carried away, I guess. Okay. I've always been told not to touch the tip. So I'll take and put my big old thumbnail on there. Now those holes, a little hole, return hole right there, those all go towards the valve cover. Okay, so the remainder of the install is there's a dust cap that goes on, and there's a washer that goes on top of that. Okay, then you gotta take your little protective cover off and your hold down. And I'm just gonna slip these back on here. What I prefer to do is I'll get the return line put on, because that runs right behind here and you can line it up better before you try and get your bolts torqued down. Because otherwise, that little bit of movement that you got here may not allow your copper washers on the backside to seat, and you'll have a fuel leak. So get your return line on first, then torque down the injector. Okay, there's the return line. You know that one. I put some grease on them again. I lined all of them up because this is one solid line. Got them all prepped, washer on both sides, dabbed a little grease so it's like glue, you know. Start with this one, hold in the other end of the line, and then you can turn the injector if you need to, because this is all still loose. Oh, what's in here? See? So now I'll tighten up the return line bolts. These are just finger tight down. So then I'll tighten these up to whatever the torque spec is. I'll have to look it up again, and then I'll torque these down, because then I don't have to worry about the angle so much. Well, now we're in the process of putting the injection pump back on. Got my main fuel line on. I got the most stubborn one in the very back on already. So now it's just getting the remainder of these. Then I'll tighten this clamp, and then I'll get my top injector line started before I deal with these clamps. By the way, I did get all these torqued up. There's a page in my service manual. It actually goes by the shank of the bolt for torque spec. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I've already got all the lines down on the pump tight. I'm just taking these ones here, getting them just started. So that way we can, when we go to fire this up, we can kind of bleed it, you know, and then we'll move on from there. Now we'll get these, make sure you can see them. We'll get these fold downs here. There's one bolt that goes here. This one has to be slid over. I think it's just this outside bolt. Or is it both? Oh, yeah, it's both. We'll get them all tightened up. We'll be back. Okay, so we're gonna put this fitting, goes this way, right here. This is on your return. Get that out of there. This one here is really, really fine thread, so I like to use this gas oil stuff. Just get a little bit on there. Otherwise, it always seems to leak. Every time. That's stuck out of the way. Throw the wrench on there, we'll get that tightened up. Alright, now that we got the top of this, here's your kill, here's your throttle, we got your return line hooked up, we got our securement for the kill cable hooked up, all these are tight, fuel lines hooked up, injector lines are secured, injectors are still loose, the return lines. But now we're going to put the actual return line in so we can tie that onto the pump. That should also be 1/16. Now remember, you don't have to crank these rubber ones down like super tight. They only got like 6 or 7 pounds of pressure, that's it. And if they leak, you just give them a little bit more. You don't have to go crazy on them. and back up. It's probably tight enough, but let's go double check. That's a half. I gotta grab another. Oh, it's right here. Underneath everything, hidden. Oh. Next is to time the pump to the motor. So we'll take this inspection cover off here and I'll get that turned to see the timing works. Okay, now I got the inspection cover off the side here. Get up in here. So we see the one little scratch right there. I'm going to roll this over. You'll see that forward piece rotates and find a timing line. There it is. Get them lined up. So now that they're lined up, the pump is lined to number 1. So that is when you make sure that your 18-degree timing mark down there is correct. Now we'll install the timing gear in there. Okay, now we got the timing is all verified on the window here compared to the static timing of the engine. So silicone this up. Doesn't take much. It's a cork gasket. Just a little insurance, that's all. Got a bugger here. Tight corners. Also going up the gasket here. Just a little bead. Don't need a whole lot. It'll spread out. This is more because this plate has been on and off a few times, I think, in the history, because when I slide around it here, I can feel the imperfections where it's been over torqued. There, gasket on there. We're ready to bolt this up. Okay. We've got everything back on, alternator belts, everything like that. We're going to give her a crank. The injector lines are still loose on top. So.
Not going to have the fuel on?
Oh, pull it. Yeah, there you go.
Are you ready anyway?
Yep. Hey, we got fuel up here.
Cool.
Well, we'll tighten down.
In case of fire, did you want to have the garage door open? Or doesn't matter?
It'll smoke a little bit.
And if it does happen to fire up, how long do you want to run before I shut it off?
Or you wanna drive it out?
What?
Until you wanna drive it out? We'll shut it off, eventually.
What I was saying was just in case it fires up. Should I leave it, how long do you want me to let it keep running before I shut it off?
Till it smooths out. Till it smooths out.
Okay. I'm so fucking deaf, you really gotta draw me pictures. And the throttle is all the way back. Should I give it any juice? Nope. Okay.
Hey, return line that's leaking. I got a return line that's leaking.
Uh-oh.